Well, it's that time of the week when we bring in the most talented, best-looking, most capable attorney in the history of attorneys, Steve Dulan. Here he is, everybody. Look, it's Dulan.
You're, as always, too kind.
Yeah, okay. So I want to play you something. Steve Dulan is also a military veteran, correct?
Correct. Former U.S. Army Infantry Sergeant.
There you go. Sergeant Dulan, I want you to put on your Sergeant Dulan hat for this because it seems the seditious six just can't stop digging the hole. Most notably, Mark Kelly, Navy veteran, NASA astronaut, continues to throw this idea of illegal, unlawful orders. And this time, I think he goes a step further. Listen to this.
Now, we have members of the United States military that have been put in an impossible situation because they're given, in the case of what we've seen here over the last couple of days, clearly unlawful, illegal orders. And there's tremendous pressure on them. And that was the point, of our video, is just to remind, members of the military that they have an obligation to follow the law. It wasn't specific to this case, but when you consider who this Secretary of Defense is and who this president is, we felt it was a very important message to get to our warfighters.
All right. Clearly unlawful, illegal orders. Just in the last couple of days, he says. He's not ambiguous about it. Clearly unlawful, illegal orders, but nothing specific to this case. I'm sorry. That makes my head hurt a little bit, Mr. Dulan. What are you hearing? What do you take away from that?
Well, the not specific part, I heard he was sort of going back in time and saying when the video from the 6 was first released, at that time, they didn't have a clear case in mind. So at that time, based on the tone of the whole thing, you and I talked about it, and I said it seems wrong to me, right? And it specifically seemed wrong according to 18 U.S. Code Section 2387, which is incitement to mutiny, and it carries up to a 10-year prison sentence. And the idea there is, the specific language has to do with encouraging disobeying orders. Whosoever advises, counsels, urges, or in any manner causes or attempts to cause insubordination, etc., including refusal of duty and mutiny, carries up to a 10-year prison sentence. And that when the statement first came out, that's what I thought this could be covered by. And then, of course, subsequently found out that specifically Senator Kelly still subject to recall to active duty for court-martial because of his retirement status, right? A lot of us, me included, are not retired. We simply did what's called end term of service, and now we are civilians. And so this statute I just read would cover anyone, not
but let me ask you specifically.
Yeah.
He now says that they've been, over the last couple of days, given clearly unlawful illegal orders. He's saying that they've been given unlawful illegal orders. He's not ambiguous about it at all. That's a problem.
That really is a problem, because what you've got, and this is something people have been talking about for the last week or more, is what you've got there is he is also in a position of authority as a senator. The original video also said, "We've got your back," or words to that effect. I haven't listened to it for an entire week, but I believe it said something about "we've got your back," meaning that somehow he thought that he could provide support and protection for people who refuse orders. It's not up to every link in the chain of command to decide whether an order is illegal unless it clearly violates the law of war, right? And I mentioned the history of the development of the training in the military. It came from the My Lai massacre during Vietnam, when slaughtering innocent civilians, including women and children, is clearly unlawful. And so if I'm the machine gunner on the ground and somebody says, shoot those people over there who are presenting no threat and are unlikely to be enemy combatants, I have to refuse to pull the trigger at that moment. That's what this the training is referring to, refusing unlawful orders.
Sure.
It doesn't mean that I'm supposed to make fine distinctions of law, including constitutionality, when I'm deciding whether to follow orders. And those things are decided much later by
Yeah.
courts, including the U.S. Supreme Court. So when
We
he
thought he
says
was across the
thinks
line
that
before. He was across the line in my estimation before. I think you agreed with that. But saying that there are clearly unlawful illegal orders has no example to give. I think he's gone a step further.
Right.
I think he's farther over the line than he was before. So you say you end your term of service, I think is how you put it. But he can be
Yep.
recalled. He can be put before
Yeah,
the board. He
he's
can be
retired.
court-martialed, right? I mean, that could happen, especially based on this comment.
Yeah, it could, because I mean, essentially, he's jumping into the middle of the chain of command and telling people that the orders that were given were unlawful, and he's the one putting pressure. He used the word pressure, right? He's putting pressure on everybody in that chain of command from outside. That's what he's doing, and he's essentially countermanding their superiors. So what's happening is he's trying to interject himself into the chain of command, and I really do think he stepped over the line at this point. I told you last time I thought he was tap dancing on the edge of the line. It feels to me like he crossed over at this point.
Well, and we'll find out what the response is going to be. I don't think it can be let stand. I think that this has to be pursued. I think that he has to be held accountable for his words because I find them dangerous, reckless, and threatening. Dulan, I got to leave it there. I appreciate your Sergeant Dulan hat today. It looks good on you. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Greatly appreciate it. There you have it. So from a veteran, from an attorney, from a guy who served, there you have it. And I'm told that if a soldier refuses an order, and it is lawful and legal, it's the soldier that pays the price, right? It's not this senator or that member of Congress. It's the soldier, the man or woman on the front lines that pays that price. Let's be honest about that. I'll take a break and be right back.